All right. I think now we're good. I had some issues here. The internet is not the best out here as you could expect. Let me share this Facebook and all. All right, we good? I feel like a 90-year-old man on here. All right, live from inside Davis Wade Stadium, I guess. I am outside. And we're going to talk about the game today for Mississippi State and just how important this was for the Bulldogs to come out healthy, to come out and get the win, to get some guys in the ballgame that normally don't get to play, and like I said, most importantly, come out of this healthy going into Egg Bowl week. 55-10 is your final score. Mississippi State knocks off Tennessee State here at Davis Wade Stadium, and it was an impressive ball game on both sides of the ball for the Bulldogs. 600 yards of total offense, 391 yards passing from Will Rogers, 82% completion percentage. He was 28 of 34 passing, played into the third quarter. I think the fourth quarter is when they were able to get Chance Levertich in the ball game. He threw for 100 yards. State just dominated both sides of the line of scrimmage like they should do in this game. And this is a game that, Tennessee State is not a good football team, not comparable to an SEC football team. And this is a ball game sandwiched between Auburn on the road, an emotional ball game there, and then playing Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl. For State to come out and just take care of business that way, I thought was huge for the Bulldogs. And now they're 7-4 in the season. I predicted 7-5. So even if State loses to Ole Miss, they've hit my prediction. I think they've even overshot my predictions of how good this team could be. I think they've been super impressive in the second half of the season. After that Alabama game, it just seemed like something switched for this football team, and they're playing like you expect a Mike Leach air raid offense to play. Will Rogers has been phenomenal. I mean, one more pass probably, maybe two more passes, and he's thrown for 400 yards for the third straight game, which is just incredible. He passed Dak Prescott during the game for the single-season passing yards record and the touchdown record in a single season. He's going to shatter all the career records probably next season. But what he's done, you can call it a system. You can say whatever you want to. Will Rogers has been so impressive for Mississippi State this year to run this offense to the ability that he has. 5 touchdowns, no interceptions today. He's thrown over 40 touchdowns this season, 8 interceptions. Kirk, you're exactly right. I was 1 point away from the perfect prediction on this game. I predicted 54-10. But that's neither here nor there. How about it was a 40-point spread, which I didn't even know they were allowing spreads in these ball games. But 44-point spread. Mississippi State goes for the field goal in the final minute or so of the ball game, and they're able to cover. That's tough. There's some people out there that bet for Tennessee State to cover that. I hate it for those people. But, yeah, State playing really impressive on the offensive side of the ball. Defense was strong today, too. 12 tackles for loss. They had a few sacks. Tyrus Wheat was just unstoppable out there. They're playing how you expect them to play coming into this Egg Bowl. Both teams are playing really, really well between Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And it's just going to be an electric atmosphere at Davis Wade Stadium. It's going to be cold probably, but I feel like it's got a chance to be a special night for those two teams here inside the stadium at less than a week away. And it's hard to believe. I mean, that's just a few days away. I mean, it's on Thanksgiving night. It's a short turnaround, which this 11 a.m. kick was probably the best thing that could happen to Mississippi State to go ahead and get this game over with, get healthy, get back to the training table, come in early on Sunday morning and start on the film. Will Rogers said post-game that he's going to go ahead and start watching film on Ole Miss tonight. He's locked in. That's a guy that last year played really well against the Rebels, probably one of his better games last year as a true freshman. Grew up an Ole Miss fan. To come to Mississippi State, a former Ole Miss fan. His dad went to Ole Miss. His sister went to Ole Miss. And, kind of was overlooked by the Rebels. They kind of slow played him a little bit, never really offered him a scholarship. And here he is now at Mississippi State. He's got a chance to go up against a team that might be inside the top 10 whenever Monday or Tuesday rolls around. So it's a huge game, and Will Rogers knows it. He wants to win this game more than anybody out there. These guys are locked in on that ball game. They were all talking about it after the game today. This game today was all about just getting out of here, getting a win, and getting ready for Ole Miss, and that's what Mississippi State is doing. Izzy, you're right, grandfather played baseball at Ole Miss as well. He comes from a family that's got a lot of Ole Miss in their background. But those guys are all locked in with Mississippi State and have been since Will signed the dotted line on signing day. And he's just been so impressive. I cannot say enough about what Will Rogers has done at quarterback for Mississippi State. 493 passing yards for the Bulldogs today, another massive number there. Chance Lovertich, as I said, came in. He threw 100 yards off the bench. Mekhi Polk tied the MSU record for career receiving yards, as he has 88 now, I think is correct. 88 catches this season. 9 catches, 110 yards today. Had a touchdown. Austin Williams, 4 catches for 75 yards. He scored 3 touchdowns. So, Will did a nice job again spreading the ball around, hit some big plays down the field. Mekhi Polk had a 50-yard reception for a touchdown. A couple of 20-plus yard catches for touchdowns for Austin Williams. You're starting to see this air raid offense. And Leach even said post-game, you don't know what you can really take away from this ball game other than the fact that you won the ball game. But he just wanted to see his team be consistent out there, and they were absolutely that. They were consistent. They took care of business. They did what they were supposed to. That's all you can ask coming into this ball game for the Bulldogs, and to stay healthy, and they did that as well. So just a huge win for State to just continue to build towards that Egg Bowl. It's not going to look like a big win to a lot of people out there because it's Tennessee State, but just getting another win on that record and staying healthy and getting ready for the biggest game of the year, I thought that was huge for the Bulldogs. There was no letdown in this game, which is something you could not have coming in. So now that sets the stage for just a monumental Egg Bowl, the biggest probably since 2014, definitely 2015, but these two teams are both going to be inside the top 25 for the third time since 2014. And this game means so much more than, just bragging rights this year. And that's what makes it fun. When both of these teams have something to play for beyond just the trophy, it just makes this game that much better. There's never a dull moment in this thing, and it's always a fun atmosphere and a fun ball game every single year. But it's going to be a really fun game for college football fans, just beyond Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Fans around the country are going to be tuned into this game on Thanksgiving night because it's going to be two really good teams. This is just an absolute electric atmosphere on the way. Wyatt talking about Nolan McCord. It does seem like something's flipped for him, and I think that's more than anything, it's a confidence thing for kickers. I've always felt like Nolan was one of State's most talented kickers. He might not be on the level of Brandon Reeves right now, but he was one of the top kickers in the country coming out of high school. He's a walk-on, but he's much better than that walk-on label. He's much better than what we've seen from him at times this year. Came out, hit a couple of field goals. Both of them looked strong. If you can build that now, and Brandon Reeves still seems to be injured, I think that's huge. Izzy, if State can win impressively, chance to pass OM in the rankings, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be really tough. I think they're going to be close to top 10 in the college football playoff polls this week. Michigan State got beat. I think they're probably going to pass them. We'll see on that. But that's going to be really difficult. You're talking about, at best, you're probably going to be 13 spots behind them. I've said this last week. The thing Mississippi State has going for them in the rankings is that you have humans doing it, and they've shown the tendency to just completely re-rank everybody every single week. It's not one of those things where you look back at the last week's rankings and you slide somebody down or slide somebody up a couple of spots, they'll change the whole thing up if they feel like they need to the next week. State went from 17 to unranked after losing to Arkansas, and they're back in this past week at 25. But the committee could say State won the head-to-head. State has more top 25 wins. State's been more impressive. They could say that, and they could seemingly move Mississippi State ahead of Ole Miss. I don't personally think they're going to do that, but it just remains to be seen. I want to see what the rankings are this week. If it's tightened up a little bit, there's a chance. If the committee looks at this week and thinks that Mississippi State needs to be inside the top 20, which I think is a stretch, they very well could be. So we'll see what happens. As of today, I don't think that State would pass Ole Miss even with a win. Just there's no bad losses on Ole Miss's resume, which I think is giving them the edge. They do have one more win than Mississippi State too. But also, if they somehow lose to Vanderbilt by some miracle, that would obviously change some things as well. Nice little background there of the sprinklers, which are coming a lot closer than I want them to come right now. Thank God they didn't actually hit me. This is great television. Jonathan, really impressed with State's conditioning this year. Not a lot of injuries. I've thought that same thing, Jonathan, about the conditioning of the team. It just seems like late in the ball game, State has a little more juice than everybody else. I think that's huge. If you have a ball game that's close going into the fourth quarter, you got to feel good about your chances if you're Mississippi State. Didn't finish it out against Arkansas. Didn't finish it out against Memphis. But against Memphis and LSU, the fourth quarter was when they were playing their best. Against La Tech, the fourth quarter was when they were playing their best. Kind of the same thing with Auburn as well. So for the most part this year, Mississippi State has been at their best in the fourth quarter, and that's big. And that could come up big against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a team that likes to start fast. If Mississippi State can kind of withstand the early start, because Ole Miss is really good about, scripting and having good starts, scripting ball games. If State can kind of withstand that first blow by Ole Miss and, they have a lead at halftime or something like that, I think that's huge. I'm telling you, this thing's really close. A lot better crowd today than I thought it was going to be, by the way. It wasn't a great crowd, but, hunting season has picked up here in Mississippi. It was chilly. It was 11 a.m. It was Tennessee State. A lot of excuses to be made to miss this ball game. I think Thursday should be a great atmosphere here at Davis Wade. Trying to think if there's anything else on my mind here. Just like the day of college football today is just really, the schedule's not good. There was like 3 or 4 games. I think 4 games, SEC games at 11 a.m., and none of them were good. Texas A&M played Prairie View. Kentucky played New Mexico. Who else? Was it Georgia? Got a blowout. There's not a lot of good games. This is the week every year where you just got to survive, and that's what Mississippi State did. That was more important than anything. Just find a way to win, move on to next week. This is crazy. This feels like it's right by me. So any more questions? Anybody got any more questions? We're going to have our weekly chat. I'll do a weekly chat coming up probably Tuesday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday. We'll talk about the Egg Bowl. We'll preview the Egg Bowl. Of course, all week on our website, 247 Sports, we're going to have a ton of coverage throughout the week, and obviously for the game as well. You can go check us out today, too. We've got a bunch of stuff on the website now. Adam, you're right. Malik Heath, another good ball game for him. Had that big breakaway touchdown. And he's really come along. I think a switch has flipped for him. Something's happened with him that he's he's got his mind right and he's ready to roll. That could be big for Mississippi State moving forward. State really as a whole is playing extremely well at wide receiver and on the offensive line. Charles Cross again. I mean, the offensive line today, Will just stood back there. I don't know if he even got hit. He might not even got hit today at any point. That's just it was really impressive job by that offensive line again today, and they're going to need to be really good next week. Next week. So, but yeah, we will have a live chat Tuesday. Listen to Thunder and Lightning all week. We've got we're going to have interviews with former players. Brian will. He never includes me in any of those, which I think is incredibly rude. We'll have interviews. We'll have a lot of discussion throughout the week as well. Jonathan, last time I looked, we had thrown the ball with 13 different receivers. Do you remember a game with more? I think 13 is the most I can remember. And this is like an every week thing, like 10 to 12, 13 receivers. I've never seen Mississippi State spread the ball around like that. But we've never seen this offense either. I mean, it's just nuts. Gil, does Rogers win the Connolly if he outperforms Corral in the Egg Bowl? I've been thinking through that. Right now, if I had a vote, I probably would go with Corral, just because I just think that he's been there throughout the entire season. He's been able to put up those big numbers, but it's getting closer and closer, man. Will has really made up some ground. A month ago, I would have said go ahead and ship him the trophy. I would have said just go ahead and name him the Connolly. Nobody's going to catch him. But now, Will has really made up some ground. I think that if he outperforms him, I think he deserves it. I really do. I mean, he's about to be he already really is an elite company in SEC history. He's probably going to be number 2 all time in single season behind Joe Burrow for passing yards. And he's going to, Joe played in the playoff. So in the SEC championship. So he played 15 ball games. Will's going to play 13. And he's going to be, probably like 600 yards behind him, I think, for the record. So what he's done this year has just been incredible. He's over 6,000 yards now in his career. He's over 4,000 this year. What's impressive to me is the interceptions, or the lack thereof. He's been just incredible at protecting the ball. And now, he was doing that at the beginning of the season, but now he's getting the ball down the field. He's going through his progressions. He's getting it out quicker. He's just gotten so good back there and so comfortable. And you got this dude for another 2 years. I mean, he's gonna put up some absolute monster numbers before he leaves Mississippi State. And I've known the kid since he was running around at Winston Academy as a ball boy with his dad. He's just a different player. There's not many guys out there with the mindset that he has and the things that you can't teach, the leadership qualities and just the mind for the game. I mean, he is the quintessential coach's son, but he's going beyond that. I mean, he's going to be big time at Mississippi State before it's all said and done. And I think it just feels like he's going to have a big game in that Egg Bowl too. He just feels like he's locked in and ready to prove a lot of people wrong. State had potential in that ball game last year to win the game, and that was with 43 people on the team. So I feel confident Mississippi State's going to have a good showing in that game. So, all right, before I get wet over here with the sprinklers, I think I'm gonna close this thing down. Tuesday night we'll meet here and discuss the Egg Bowl and kind of further break things down. But for now, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you later this week.